Okay, I'm gonna probably do reflection videos on the passing of my cousin for a while. It's just my way of processing. It's definitely not a way to try to um, draw attention or anything. I just my way of processing hurt is through communication and sharing with the hopes of ministering to others as well as I walk through the trials of life that God brings us through. So I hope people know the heart behind why I'm sharing. And I think my grief process is a little different from a lot of people because everyone who was close to him were able to go to his funeral. So they had that process of being with family and hugging each other and kind of grieving together. And I never got a chance to do that. And so this is my process to, and this is in no way saying my grief is worse. It's just different because I have to try to figure out a path forward, not going through the traditional grieving process. And I will say that staying back with my mom, who was not well, and so she couldn't go, I stayed with her so my dad could go. This was his nephew. My dad is a pastor. I just thought he would serve the family more than I could if he went. So I stayed back with my mom, and it was a sweet time. So I'm grieving, but I have no regrets. I definitely see why the Lord allowed that to happen. But even still, and this is one thing my cousin shared with me. She worried about me not going because I wouldn't get the same closure that the other cousins were getting, or same that process of weeping and crying with close family members and hugging one another. Like I really wanted to hug his brothers, my other cousins, because I loved Glenn a lot, but I actually loved all five of them. They all have a very special place in my heart, and I really would have loved to just be with them. But God had other plans, and I definitely see that was his will. And I don't like to cry on social media because I feel it's a lot of times performative, but I am welcoming people into my grieving process with the hopes that it is a blessing to someone. But anyway, I was talking to one of my cousins today, and the passing of Glenn jacked me up in a lot of ways, but a lot of good ways. And it was a real wake-up call for me. And one of the main things the Lord did to my heart through his passing was it just opened up a capacity to love better, to love people better, to not carry hurt, but to let it go, leave it with God. One of his brothers, thank God they streamed the funeral. I think I would have been a real mess if they hadn't done that. But at the funeral, one of his brothers gave this testimony on how Glenn loved. Lord, how we can get through this. And he just loved everyone. Where the normal human beings, such as myself, may feel hurt, and you carry that, and you kind of marinate in it, or you just keep thinking about it, or you even hold on to it and wait until you get to tell how you feel, or there's some type of healing process. But the brother, I can't remember which one it was, I don't know if it was Gordy or George, but one of them said, like most of his life, all of his life, he would, like, if someone did something hurtful or irritating, whatever, he was so cute. Glenn would say, "Oh man, he gonna be all right." He would just keep on loving the person. "Oh man, he gonna be all right." And if you knew Glenn, you could tell he was a very free person. He didn't hold on to things. It was very easy for him to give stuff to the Lord and to move forward with joy. And so that spirit everyone was drawn to, especially the cousins. And he was like that all of his life. All of my memories of Glenn are usually connected to coming into his presence with a hurt or an insecurity. And then you come and hang out with him and you just feel better. And so, even though we lived far apart, and as we grew up and had families and did life, and maybe don't see each other as often, you could always call or text if you just needed to feel better. And you could send him a text and he would send you some type of affirming word, or he would call. And he wasn't a liar, so he wasn't fake. So if you were a mess, he has this phrase. It's a sermon he preached, and it made me laugh so much. I even texted him and said, "Boy, you are so crazy." And in the sermon, he said, "Many of you all are always talk about the problems in your family." And he said, "You know why your family got problems?" And he said, "Because you there." Oh my gosh, I laughed so hard. Very convicting, but I laughed so hard. So he wasn't a liar. He wasn't fake. He would tell you about yourself, but in love. And then he would also tell you why you were amazing or how he saw you as a human being. And so you could easily grow and learn from him. His capacity to love was pretty miraculous. And it was a very special anointing. And I believe many of us miss the ability to be able to just send a text, give a phone call, and if he didn't pick up the phone, he was gonna call you back within the hour, and he was gonna love on you. I think we may have accidentally taken that for granted. Somewhere in the world is someone who sees you, understands you, loves you unconditionally, that you have at least one person in the world who was always willing to give you that grace. That being suddenly taken is hard. You have to kind of recalibrate, rethink life. Whew, sorry. And so, one of the things I'm reflecting on is, Lord, help me love like that. During the funeral, and I want to thank all the cousins who, even though I wasn't there, just kept texting. And I think we created this group, and there was texting and pictures, and just it helped me feel like I was a part, and that was really helpful. So helpful. Like, even as you were like lining up or getting ready to go in or getting ready to see the body, you would text and say, "This is what we're about to do," and "Girl, this is hard." It just allowed me to walk with you. I just wish I could have felt you all physically, but that texting was so helpful. And one of my cousins during the funeral, who I usually confide in a lot, was saying to me, "This is teaching me that all that matters is love." That is the legacy that Glenn left. He left a legacy of love. There are people all over who will give testimony to how he loved. And so I felt that in his passing, as I went through the grieving process, and I'm going through the grieving process, I just want to love. I want to feel free like that. And I felt myself let go of stuff.